anniversary of our independence republic. And Kirti, thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. Let me go right ahead and start within my 10 minutes. The title of my presentation I call today, Independence is not instant soup, by which I mean, it's not like you tear open a package, throw it in a cup, pour the hot water, and voila, there is the success. It's a totally different issue. Suriname was a colony of the Netherlands from 1667 to 1954. And then we became a country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands with a special status. The urge for independence was strengthened within a selective intellectual group of citizens, mostly ones that were studying in the Netherlands. And it was strengthened by the speech given on December 7, 1942, by Queen Wilhelmina, who by then was in England due to the occupation of the Netherlands by the Nazis. But in this speech, she stated that all overseas colonies would gain their autonomy after the end of World War II. In 1954, the Charter for the Kingdom of the Netherlands came into effect. We know it as the Statute. Suriname gained a greater degree of self-government. We could now handle our internal affairs ourselves, and we even had a representative in the Netherlands. 21 years later, the Republic of Suriname was born. In the run-up to the Day of Independence, November 25th, 1975, there were, of course, those who were for, those who were against. There were those who worried and those who were confident. For the details on that development, I will leave that to my colleague, the Vice Chair of our Parliament, Mr. Dew Sharman. Suriname was spared the ugly ethnic killings and experienced a relative smooth transition. Our independence differed very much from that of our neighbor 9 years earlier with violent ethnic clashes. Also, we were handed a very generous golden handshake by the Dutch government, a social democratic government at the time led by Mr. Den Uyl. When we wish to evaluate 45 years of independence, we need to consider where we were then, the world we lived in then, compared to today. Within days after gaining our independence, friendly nations opened embassies in our country. Suriname's main focus was, and actually still is, on the Netherlands. We joined the CARICOM in 1995. The primary objectives of that group of countries was to promote economic integration, cooperation among its members, ensure that the benefits of integration were equitably shared, and to coordinate foreign policies. And indeed, we did undertake a lot of foreign policy efforts together with the CARICOM. Over the years, Suriname joined many international and regional organizations. From the start, our orientation was strongly focused on the Netherlands. This hasn't changed much over the years, since we have a large portion of our diaspora living there. Started as an emotional bond, over the years, this has become more businesslike on both sides of the ocean. Our membership of these organizations has served the people of our country well in the past 45 years, especially during the very dark times that we also suffered during these past 45 years, especially the OAS and the UN in regards to the military period, as well, especially the human rights violations. To the CARICOM, we have undertaken many diplomatic actions together, as I said before. However, the benefits of the CARICOM single market for Suriname remain to be seen. Economically, we started relatively well off, I guess. I will leave the details to, of course, Stephen Deby Persad, but we received that golden handshake, and now 45 years later, we are in dire straits. 45 years ago at independence, there were no ethnic clashes, and we have not had those for 45 years. However, it does remain something we have to actively guard against. As we turn 45, we have more interracial marriages, and many Surinamese are mixed. But there remains much more to do to create a union of the people. Unite Suriname has to be our goal for the next 45 years. This country does not belong to any ethnic group more than to another. This is what was stated also at our independence by the chair of the parliament then. It was the wish at our independence to become one nation. For years, it was preached that we could mingle and respect each other without the need to really intermingle. Still, it happened more than often. 45 years after independence, the question is now asked, who is the real Surinamese? And that question deserves an answer. And that answer will be experienced with leadership that unites, is transparent, and rewards merit. In this process, education is of the utmost importance. In the past 45 years, our education system allowed more and more of us to leave poverty and climb the ladder to positions that before were only for a few. However, our education lacked in preparing us for the future. It also lacked in preparing us to be independent citizens with a vision for and understanding to demand leadership with integrity, morals, and principles. In other words, it did insufficiently prepare us to run a country. Over the past 45 years, the one institution that has remained intact, trusted, and respected is our judiciary. All other institutions have gone through an erosion of these characteristics due to bad governance. For most of the past 45 years, we have not seen a dramatic change in the players and parties in the political playing field. This has resulted in a cycle of bad, ruinous governance with recovery, weak democratic roots, strong patronage governance. A dangerous development is the entrance of criminal behavior in politics, as well as the influence of big money. However, the movement for different politics, starting in 1991, has gained new blood during the past 5 years. Not enough to gain seats in parliament yet, but that could definitely change for the next elections. Our people are much more critical, dare to speak more, and modern technology allowing access to global developments is a great support in that. We are reaching a tipping point. After 45 years of tolerating corruption, nepotism, and foolish dreams, our people are starting to realize that independence is more and different from that. Even though we were spared the bloody clashes in gaining our independence, soon after our independence, we were faced with a military coup in 1980 and the following military dictatorship which lasted till 1987, during which period many Surinamese citizens were not only robbed of their freedom and democracy, but many also of their lives. In this, we think of 8 December 1982, where 15 Surinamese citizens, fighters for democracy, were killed. We also think of the killings of Moiwana, where innocent women and children were killed. Many more were killed by dictator Bouterse and his regime. Elections were held in 1987. It is believed that this is a moment in our history where we missed an opportunity for reinventing the republic with new leadership, since the same political leadership from before 1980 presented itself united as the only alternative that election. This election of 1987 demonstrates the resilience of the Surinamese people, which we see recurring throughout these past 45 years in a political perspective. As a people, we have taken many hits and were betrayed many times. The good news is that we do not lose hope. We show a resilience you do not see in many places in the world. This resilience, combined with our urge for peaceful solution of conflicts, has protected us till now against violent clashes. However, we also got stuck in a rut, and politically after 45 years, it seems that only now we are almost at a threshold where the people are ready to let go of the old ideas, stories, and methods, and to dare to choose for the unknown. In our future is also possible income from oil finds in our waters. However, only good and sound governance will allow this to be a blessing instead of a curse, as well as the global developments with regard to fossil fuels. Our natural resources, our riches, have to be carefully protected, and the extraction has to be improved with regard to our environment. After 45 years, We have a growing mercury problem in our interior due to gold mining. The road ahead is one of reinventing, of reviving, the road to the new republic. Independence is not a gift box that when opened just rolls out the road ready-made and built for success. It is a journey that never ends. After 45 years, we still have disputes to settle at our borders, but also within our borders with our indigenous population. This cannot and should not be the inheritance of the next generation. We have to place a solid foundation for good governance, democracy, and the rule of law, as well as sustainable economic development. It requires us, the citizens, to realize our responsibility, demand and prepare to take it on, and fulfill it step by step, day by day. As Suriname, we have what it takes to face the challenges we are facing once again after 45 years. Our international image, building trust with our fellow nations while presenting ourselves as equal partners, rebuilding our economy, and so reinvent ourselves, revive our hope, and believe in ourselves, stand for what is ours, and contribute to our new republic. In the next 45 years, we will have to actively unite Suriname with itself and with the world.